Morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Time for the first Thursday story assembly of this term. I hope you've enjoyed your start of your term and you're working hard and being nice to everybody, like we have been talking about in our assemblies so far. Today, I've got one of my very favourite stories for you. It was published back in the 1960s, so it's quite an old story. It's famous for its amazing illustrations, and you know how much I love a great illustration in a picture story. It's a famous story partly because it has quite a lot of hidden meanings in it. And as I read it, I'd like you to see if you can spot what you think the author has hidden inside the story as the hidden things that we can learn from this story. And there are quite a few, so look out for them. It's called Where the Wild Things Are.
The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing. Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, and in and out of weeks, and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." And they danced, crashed about, and they swung. And they did more marching. "Now stop," said Max, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be somewhere where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars, gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye, and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot.
I hope you enjoyed the story. Just turn to your partner or somebody near you and tell them what you think were the hidden messages within this story. What do you think we can learn from this story? Just pause the video and talk to your partner about that. At the beginning of the story, Max has been making mischief, hasn't he? There he is, making mischief. And he is sent to bed without any supper. And so he creates a world for himself. And the world is where he's in charge of everything. And he can do whatever he wants. But it doesn't quite work out for him, does it? And in the end, he ends up feeling a bit lonely. It says in the story that he wanted to be somewhere where someone loved him best of all. Who do you think that someone is? Talk to your partner and with your class about who's the person who loves Max best of all. I think it's his grown-up. I think that Max realises at the end of the story that even though the grown-up isn't as fun as the wild things and isn't doing those kinds of things with him and crashing about and mushing about and making a rumpus, actually his grown-up is the one who loves him best of all. And I think we can all learn from that, because there are lots of grown-ups in our lives who sometimes have to do things that we don't like telling us what to do. And that's because our grown-ups love us best of all. And it could be a grown-up at home, or it could be a grown-up at school. And it's our job to make sure that you are not lonely and that you're happy. And sometimes that means we have to tell you what to do, and that's okay. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope that you enjoyed Max's adventures with the wild things. And I will see you next week.